I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Awesome. Roll call.
Mayor Mays.
Here.
Council President Rosner.
Here.
Councilor Browse. Here. Councilor Young. Here. Councilor Garland.
Here.
Councilor Griffin.
Here.
Councilor Scott.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sylvia. We have approval of agenda, but before we do, one request just to swap the order of the presentations, if that's okay with council. Other than that, I think we're okay, unless there's a change.
Make a motion to approve the agenda with the swap of A and B under presentations.
Second.
In a second, all in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, council. Consent agenda. We have 3 items under our consent agenda this evening. Item A is approval of the May 21st, 2019 City Council meeting minutes. Item B is Resolution 2019-048, authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with Black Line, Inc. for the 2019 Slurry Seal program. Item C is the Resolution 2019-049, authorizing and supporting the submittal of a request for regional flexible funds and mistip opportunity funds for the design of Blake Street in the Tonkin employment area.
I move consent.
Second.
Discussion on the motion. All in favor of approving the consent as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 6, we are moving through this agenda today. Item 6 is citizen comments. Would anyone like to address council on any issue? We have a form to fill out, but if you haven't filled it out and you want to make a comment, you can and fill it out after. But there's one. Way to go. Welcome. The green light is on, so the mic is live. Speak clear so all the audience at home can hear you as well as here.
Mayor and City Council members. Captain Craig Moyson, the station captain at Station 33 here in Sherwood, and just want to say hello and just give you kind of a brief bit of where we are right now. I just want to say thanks for the renewal levy passage over, I think, around 80% or so. And
it was close.
it was, we really appreciate the support. Really, we work hard to provide great customer service and try to be there for the citizens. So thank you so much for that. And I think the other thing that I just want to mention, community fair at Sherwood happened a few weekends ago, and it went over great. Just want to pass that on to you if you heard anything about it, and really appreciate our volunteers, the fire volunteers out of Station 33. They really helped a lot with the event. I think there are 11 or 12 of them there to help us. So, and I see a few others that are here that were helping and just went off without a hitch. I wish we had a head count on that because we had people throughout the whole time. So
You are a community magnet for that event. Everyone wanted to climb up on the equipment and check out the station and meet all the firemen and women.
Yeah. Well, we like it, and I think we might like it as much as they do. It's a lot of fun. Really great event, so appreciate that. Other than that, I just want to say we're moving into summer. We just had a fire right at Oregon at the roundabout just before I walked down here. So I think, just important to recognize that it is dry. We had some weather recently, but we had the burn ban in effect before. So please check our website for any fire restrictions and get ready for summer because it's coming. So any questions for me at all?
No, appreciate you being here and appreciate our station here in town. That you guys do a great job.
Great. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Anyone else like to address council under citizen comment? Seeing none, we'll move on to presentations. First, recognition of police accreditation. Chief?
Thank you, Mayor. I will call forward Mr. Ed Boyd from the Oregon Accreditation Alliance and turn it over to him.
Okay.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Ed Boyd, and I am privileged to be the Executive Director of the Oregon Accreditation Alliance. I'm also a retired Chief of Police with 27 years experience in 2 agencies in Oregon. I want to thank Chief Groth for his invitation here tonight, and I'm very pleased to be here to present the Sherwood Police Department with their third consecutive certificate of law enforcement accreditation. Accreditation is all about standards. Our profession and our agency are all about standards. We have standards to become a police officer to begin with, standards to graduate from the police academy, standards to be certified as an officer, and standards for the varying levels of certification that we hold through the Department of Public Safety Standards and Training. We continually preach and demand standards of accountability, standards of performance, and standards of conduct. Accreditation means that an agency, their operations, their management, their policies and procedures meet the best practices a specific industry has to offer. The accreditation process in general is a progressive and contemporary way of helping law enforcement agencies evaluate and improve their overall performance, and provides formal and professional recognition that an organization meets or exceeds best practice expectations of service and quality in the profession. To be accredited, an agency must meet 102 professional standards comprised of over 400 separate requirements contained within those standards. In Oregon, right at 36% of all law enforcement agencies are currently involved in the accreditation program, and just a little over 23% of Oregon law enforcement agencies are actually accredited. So you're talking a very small and select group that undertake this process and actually achieve accredited status. It also, in my opinion, takes courage for an organization to take on the rigorous accreditation process to begin with. Anytime the chief executive officer of an organization invites an outside third party into their department to review and inspect everything associated with their operations and render an opinion as to whether they meet a set of best practice standards for a given profession, that by itself shows commitment, transparency, and a dedication to excellence. The Sherwood Police Department joined the Oregon Accreditation Alliance originally in July of 2010. As mentioned, this is the department's third consecutive award of accredited status. Once an agency achieves accredited status, they are reevaluated and reassessed once every 3 years. So they have to do that entire process every 3 years. It is through the commitment and direction of chiefs, sheriffs, and 911 directors that their respective agencies undertake the rigorous accreditation process to begin with. And although it is truly an agency-wide effort to achieve accreditation, specific recognition needs to be given to the accreditation managers, the point people who make it happen. In this case, special recognition goes to accreditation manager Angela Haas and Captain Hanlon for their outstanding work in preparing the agency for accreditation. For those of you who don't know, also, Chief Groth is also one of the board members of the Oregon Accreditation Alliance. The Oregon Accreditation Alliance is managed by a select group of chiefs and sheriffs and 911 directors who are in effect my boss and actually manage to run the program through me. And Chief Groth is one of my board members. It is now my distinct honor and pleasure to present Chief Groth and the Sherwood Police Department with their reaccreditation award. Chief Groth. Questions for council on this? I understand we have some new counselors who may or may not be familiar with this process, but I am available for any questions you may have. Or
Certainly, first, thanks for being here to help. You answered, I was going to ask questions, which you already answered, about the frequency of the accreditation time frame, and generally the idea of how many communities in Oregon have reached this accreditation process conclusion. We certainly very proud of our chief and our department for doing this and maintaining high standards for men and women on the force and in the department. So kudos, chief, to you and everyone on your team. So others, you're right, are new. So anyone have questions or comments? Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now for even more fun, recognition of the 2019 Robin Hood Festival Maid Marian Court members. So the Maid Marian Court represents our community certainly at the Robin Hood Festival event, but also throughout the community. and we're very proud of the young women that serve and their families that support them. If you don't already know families, it is a big commitment for the entire family, and we appreciate all your efforts to support your daughters in this. So you have a few things to say? And do you want us to come forward here right now, or?
No, the main. Oh, yes.
All right, so we're going to come around and shake your hands to congratulate you. And parents can stand and take photos all you want and give direction all you want. We're supportive.
Good evening, Mayor May, Sherwood City Council members, and those in the audience tonight, and Sherwood citizens watching at home. I am Jessica Mulkey, Assistant Chaperone for the Sherwood Robin Hood Festival's Maid Marian Court, and I am pleased to come before you tonight to present to you the Robin Hood Festival's 2019 Maid Marian Court. These fine young women of this court are very proud to have become this year's ambassadors of the City of Sherwood and of our community's festival. I would like to begin the court's presentation with our Maid Marian and her senior court. Sophia Mulkey is a sophomore at Sherwood High School, where she loves to sing in choir and perform in the theater. Outside of school, she enjoys skiing, tennis, playing piano, dancing, performing in her VPA show choir, and singing on her church worship team. She has been a piano teacher for several years and especially loves teaching young students, as she wants to be a kindergarten teacher one day. She also reaches the elderly through Meals on Wheels, where she and her dad help deliver meals. She recently went parasailing in Mexico, and when she was getting close to land, they were yelling for her to pull the rope to bring her down, but she just kept going because she thought they were cheering for her. Sophia Mulkey. Audrey Jeans is a sophomore at Oregon Connections Academy, where she studies her favorite course, digital photography. She lives on a family farm and raises goats and cattle. Through the year, Audrey has participated in a local 4-H group and the Sherwood FFA chapter. She enjoys listening to country music while jamming out in her car, hanging out with friends, and helping others in her spare time. A fun fact about Audrey is that her dad was knighted a few years ago. Audrey Jeans. Kendall Lee is a 7th grader at Laurel Ridge Middle School, where she loves reading, hanging out with her friends, and drawing. When she's not doing that, she's in school running track and reading in the book club. Then she gets her rock on and plays the guitar, ukulele, and the piano. In her spare time at home, Kendall helps take care of her siblings and animals, though sometimes she can't tell the difference between the two. Kendall was on the Junior Maid Marian Court several years ago and loved it, so this year she's excited to try out the Senior Court. Kendall Lee. Madeline Lewis is a sophomore at Sherwood High School, where she is involved with the school's performing arts program. She has performed in 4 of the school's productions, including Radium Girls and Newsies. She is very involved in her church youth group and loves counseling camps during the summer. Some of her favorite memories are from church camps and other youth group activities. She is on the youth group's leadership team and is a natural-born leader. Some of her hobbies include playing the ukulele, dancing, singing, interior design, and playing with her dog outside. Madeline Lewis. And now for the junior court. Evelyn Harris is a 3rd grader at Edie Ridge Elementary, where she enjoys reading books, playing with her friends, and participating in school fundraisers. When not at school, she enjoys bike riding, playing with her American Girl dolls, and making slime. Through the year, she has enjoyed being on an O-Bob team, dancing at Sherwood Dance, and taking piano lessons. Evelyn is the 2nd generation in her family to be on the Maid Marian Court. The thing she looks forward to the most about being on the court this year is riding the float in the Robin Hood Parade. Evelyn Harris. Audrey McKinney is a 4th grader at Sherwood Charter School, where she is an avid reader and author of several creative writing pieces. She loves the arts and enjoys singing in VPA choir, playing piano, and participating in worship dance at her church. She also enjoys drawing and playing basketball. In her free time, she loves to design layouts of houses and hopes to pursue being an architect when she grows up. Her favorite place on earth is a beach on Maui. She is currently working on putting together a kid's Sound of Music musical with her friends. Audrey McKinney. Paisley Ordonez is a fourth grader at Sunset Academy, where she enjoys learning to play piano, going on lots of field trips, and having recess at Snyder Park every day. Outside of school, she enjoys riding horses, hanging out around Sherwood with her friends and family, and experimenting with different slime recipes. She's made over 100 different varieties. Throughout the year, she has been part of several youth musical performances at local senior care homes and has been collecting donated items to create care packages for homeless people. Paisley Ordonez. Madeline Stone is a fourth grader at Middleton Elementary, where she enjoys riding and singing in choir. She loves camping with family every summer, where she can go swimming, boating, and explore nature. Madeline's biggest passion in life has been gymnastics. She just finished competing with the Level 6 optionals for Omega Gymnastics, where she finished 4th in the state for her age group. Madeline is known around the house for her love to cuddle intensely, aka sit on top of you. Her cuddles are fierce. Madeline Stone. Thank you so much for your support of our court and of the Robin Hood Festival. And now the Maid Marian Court will be available for pictures.
Parents, if you want to stand up as close as you can. Step forward, counselors. Alternate. Give me like you're good. Awesome. Okay. What a great group of young ladies from our community. Those bios, how impressive. That's awesome. Next on our agenda is public hearings. We have one public hearing today. Sylvia,
Oops, sorry.
first reading of this ordinance, my understanding.
The Sherwood City Council will hold a public hearing this evening to hear testimony on ordinance 2019-005, amending multiple chapters of the Sherwood Municipal Code regarding citizen boards and commissions. The public hearing this evening will be conducted as follows. We will hear a staff report, questions, if any, by the City Council for staff. We will receive written testimony. We will then open the public hearing for testimony, and the time will be limited to 4 minutes per person. Any interested person may present testimony. We will then close the public hearing. No other comments will be heard. Final comments by staff, questions of staff, if any, by the council, discussion by the council. This is the first hearing before the council on this item. Generally, the council will hold 2 hearings prior to making a decision. A second hearing on this item is currently scheduled for June 18th, 2019. However, in accordance with the city charter, the council reserves the right to make a decision at the close of this hearing by a unanimous vote of all sitting council members. If you wish to speak, please fill out the testimony form and submit it to the city recorder. The mayor will recognize those people wishing to speak. Any questions should be addressed to the mayor. When you come forward, please state your name and address for the record, as this hearing will be recorded.
Thank you, Sylvia. Joe.
Mayor and Council, I will do a brief presentation. City Attorney Soper, who helped craft this ordinance, may also chime in, especially if there's any questions. So this ordinance is in response to one of your council goals. You may recall that this year you wanted to align and basically codify all of our existing boards and commissions into one chapter, and then also this ordinance adds a new committee, the Senior Advisory Committee, to the list of our advisory boards. The reason we're doing this is our boards and commissions were created at different times. Some were created by ordinance, some were created by resolution. There is a lack of consistency among the different boards. There was a lack of consistency in terms of terms and other things. So this is an attempt to try to get everything into one chapter within our code when it comes to our advisory boards and try to be as consistent as possible in terms of the various components for our boards and commissions. We held a work session in early May with the council and got some feedback. We tried to address those comments. Hopefully we did that to your satisfaction. If not, we can discuss that tonight. So pretty straightforward first reading tonight, and we're here to answer any questions you might have.
Awesome. Thanks, Joe. Before we ask staff questions, we'll open it up for anyone in the community who'd like to address this proposed ordinance. I have Eugene Stewart. He's completed the form to give testimony. Welcome, Eugene.
Eugene Stewart, property owner in Sherwood, across the street, outside of Sherwood, up off of Chapman Road. My history is, of course, as most people know, Marjorie Stewart was my mother. I think one of the things that we have failed to look at is how the senior center was originally set up and run. And it was basically run by the seniors themselves. They elected their own, and they hired the staff that they had. Usually it was a cook and a director. And it seemed to work fairly well until we got to a city manager, not Joe, that seemed to think that we had raised too much funds and wanted us to spend it all down instead of saving it and working off the earnings to do things around the center. And so there were some lean years before Meals on Wheels came in, and basically Washington County asked for the grant for the food. They gave it to one organization to cover basically the whole county, and the seniors and the board just felt at that time that without any more support from the city, we couldn't afford to keep. It was costing about $30,000, $40,000 a year. It was deleting our funds pretty fast. So I am a little disappointed that somebody didn't come and talk to some of the boards up there, or the boards up there, didn't go back and look at some of the old records we have, how it was organized, and why that possibly would not work better than what you have proposed here. Also, I think we need to realize is that this is built with grant funds from Washington County, and I think most of us should look at the senior center. It's more of a community, not just the city of Sherwood. I noticed in there that you only had room for one board member from outside the city, whereas I don't know exactly what the population is of citizens from it's not just citizens from Sherwood. I mean, we used to have people come down from King City. Depending upon the cook, you do draw people in from other areas. And Washington County provided the funds through a
So
block
technically, it's a community-owned block grant orchestrated through the county, but it's federal dollars. But yes.
Right, yeah, federal dollars. So it seems like it, as before, it should be open to everyone. I mean, anybody that comes and wants to participate, I'll let them come. So I think you need, if you are going to adopt this, you need more positions that can be outside. I don't know what that number is, maybe 3. I don't think it would hurt. The other thing is that I don't quite see, it seems like we should have set goals for the senior center first before we did this, because you may have gone through set goals for it, and you may have found that maybe this isn't the best way to run it without exploring how it used to run. What is the real purpose? Because it is a clearinghouse for seniors, and we seem to be expanding that as we go on. But the other thing is that it doesn't happen all the time, but there was one volunteer waited almost a year before they got cleared to serve, and it's almost as if the seniors, they know what they need for volunteers up there, maybe that should be, even you could have a volunteer coordinator up there. Could do just as good a job as what we're doing now. I've even heard tales where they tried to direct some of the volunteers to other programs when they specifically asked for that one. So I think it would have been nice if you would have come up, talked to some of the seniors, invited them down to your work session to see what their feelings were on that before you'd done it. And I think you still have time. I think you probably should try to schedule a work session with the seniors. Just find out, is this good in their opinion or not?
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks, Gene. One comment, I would think that any structure of any of our boards and commissions, it's a living thing. It can change. We can modify the proposal, or it can be modified any time in the future as conditions change. And by having a advisory committee, then we can have a structure to be able to have those conversations with all those members and go from there. So.
Can I make a comment?
Yeah.
This advisory committee is not specific to the senior center. It's a senior advisory board for the seniors of the community. So it goes much broader than the senior center. And then there is still the Friends of the Senior Center that will be operating at the senior center, just for clarification's sake.
Perfect. Thanks, Renee. Other comments on the proposed first reading of the proposed ordinance? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing for now. Questions of staff of the proposed ordinance or discussion? And unless there's a urgency or desire on council, no action today, we'll continue it for a second reading. Sounds like we're quiet. So with that, thank you, Joe. Thank you, Josh. And we will continue this for a second reading at our next city council meeting.
Correct, on June 18th.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
City manager report.
I didn't have anything, Mayor and Council. I did want to give City Attorney Josh Soper an opportunity to introduce someone that started working with us this week, and she's in the audience, I believe.
Sure. Ashley, you want to come forward and take a seat here at the table?
Hot seat.
Be nice.
So Ashley Dougal
So
is
to hear that, Joe, you have to be nice.
She is the city's new legal intern. This is her second day, so everybody please be nice. Hoping she's going to stick around for a little while. She did her undergrad at the University of Oregon, got a bachelor's in anthropology and a minor in Spanish.
Awesome, go Ducks.
And apparently had a great experience there because decided to go back to the University of Oregon for law school. She's recently completed her second year. Will be starting her third year this fall. And we've previously had legal interns from Lewis and Clark and Willamette because those are closer in proximity. U of L has a program now where in your third year of law school, you can take classes in the city of Portland. They call it the Portland program. And so that's how we were able to get our first duck as a legal intern.
Awesome. Very good.
That's all I have to say, but I'm sure she'd be glad to answer any questions.
So I already asked it, but I'm going to ask it again. So what field of law are you interested in?
First of all, thank you so much for having me and giving me the opportunity to work here with all of you. I would love to do government law, something similar to what Josh is doing here.
Awesome.
¿Qué quieres hacer con español?
Hablo un poco. It's been a long time.
Awesome.
I can write better than I can speak.
Other questions? Great.
Está bien.
Well, good luck. I think you're going to enjoy working here for the year with Josh. We enjoy having him as an attorney, and he's a great guy to work with for us, so I assume it will be the same for you.
Yeah.
I want to say welcome and go Ducks.
Go Ducks.
And we should ask, do you have any questions for us?
I don't think so. I'm
Okay.
just looking forward to attending more city meetings and getting a feel for what it's all about.
Excellent.
We hope, I think, in the fact you'll be here a year, is that correct?
Hoping to continue, at least for the summer, hoping to continue during the school year as well, at least on a part-time basis.
Possibly, she'll be able to work on an ordinance and bring it to you in a work session. And
Oh, great.
I think if we can do that, that'd be a great experience. So,
Cool. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
so Mayor, I want to talk about something with the nice weather coming. Craig Sheldon isn't here, but the water fountain at the plaza
He's on.
is on and off, as Councilor Young knows. So it has gone off a couple times. On Saturday it went off, and then last night, I believe, about 5:30. And the reason I know it went off is because it gets posted on social media. Does anyone know why the fountain isn't on?
And then you get text messages.
Then I
from
get text
counselors.
messages at off hours. So one of the things that I don't think people realize is that is is subject to health requirements, just like a swimming pool. And it constantly tests the water. And if something is out of whack in terms of health safety, it shuts down. So quite often if you come to the fountain and it's shut down, it's because it's basically out of compliance with health regulations. One of the things I think we should do, because I asked Craig, I'm like, in these situations, what's the best result to get it turned back on? And he said, call the non-emergency line at Public
About to
Works.
say that. I should post that. there.
Because, and I think we should post a sign, because unfortunately the system does not communicate
Doesn't send a
automatically.
notice.
It doesn't send you a
Right.
notice that it's down.
okay.
So we don't necessarily know it's down. And it, as someone said, there was a group of about 12, young kids there the other day that were ready to just pounce because they wanted to play in the fountain and it wasn't on. And they cheered the person that came from Public Works to turn it on. He was their hero. But I think we need to do some public education and maybe put a sign or something to alert people. If you come to the fountain and it's shut down, call this number. Because that's a 24-hour line that is consistently checked by staff. And we may want to look at some other long-term solutions technology-wise so we automatically did get notified so we would know. Because someone actually has to come out and actually reset the system. It doesn't automatically set by itself. But it's a popular summer attraction here, and people get upset when it's not working. So I wanted to kind of address that. Councilor Young, I know you have reached out to me a couple times because people have reached out. You're a counselor, so you magically know what's going on
Tag,
24/7.
Well, so if we can put a sign out there, that'd be great. Can we also give a short explanation on the city Facebook page that then we can share
Right.
Correct.
About the public
Yes.
health.
in our city wording so
Yes.
that we get it right?
Yes.
And then we can share. Okay.
And not to get into the details, but conditions where that might trigger a health issue potentially could be a young child with a dirty diaper
Correct.
getting all wet and
Yes.
so
Unsanitary conditions.
Yep, it's under the same, my understanding from talking with Craig and his team, it's under the same kind of health standards that the YMCA has for their pool. And
Maybe the sign should have some recommendations
Yes, Jen.
about what to do and not to do.
we can certainly do that as well.
hopefully the number of times it shuts down for that purpose is minimal for the rest of the year,
Correct.
just from a good heightened awareness of the facts.
Yes, so we will do an education campaign, and
Great.
If you talk to folks, educate them as well. So that's all I had. There's a few of the department heads are here if you have any questions for us.
Well, it's definitely super popular. My daughter asked if she could walk down there after school in her school clothes with her school bag and her phone, and called me at 4:30 to pick her up. And of course, she was soaked to the bone, wet.
Counselor, that's interesting that you say that. So my 14-year-old boy was in the fountain with his clothes on the other day.
Yeah.
Just like, being a ball. And I'm just like, seriously? So, yes, I agree.
But there was a ton of people there having a ball, and it was great to see. Yeah.
Awesome. Seeing none, we move to council announcements. I'll go first for a change of pace. I had a League of Oregon Cities budget meeting last week, got a board meeting next week. The WE Westside Economic Alliance event a couple weeks ago went well. Many counselors and staff were there. That was nice. I always appreciate Pam Treese all that much more when she is agreeable to try to herd a bunch of mayors on a stage and keep them in some sort of organized fashion, which was only sort of possible, but it was good. We don't know for sure what all is going to come out of Salem this year, but one bill that did pass and is going to be signed by the governor, she says, is some reform or changes to PERS. We don't know the full impact for sure, and if any of it gets challenged and all of that, but our state representative, Courtney Neron, she voted in favor of it. I want to publicly thank her for that. It was not an easy vote. The legislation and making of legislation is difficult, and there's never an ideal bill. It's not what if one person was to go write a bill, and that's the only thing they'll vote, they'll never pass anything. So I know it was a difficult vote for her, but I think it will, if the benefits occur like to the PERS rates in the future, it could be a significant assistance to local governments all around Oregon. So a big shout out to our representative, Courtney. And also a huge shout out to Sherwood native and one of our favorite young men, Adley Rutschman, for the news of yesterday being picked first overall in Major League Baseball draft.
Wow.
Baltimore Orioles.
Yeah.
Not unbelievable because it happened, but it was really incredible. I mean, they didn't do as well this year in the College World Series as they had hoped, but a lot of injuries caused problems. And the respect that he was shown by basically having him walk, they walked him with the bases loaded in that game this weekend instead of throwing to him and maybe having a different outcome.
That was my alma mater, the Cincinnati Bearcats. That did.
I don't want to know that. And I hadn't followed his stats for the year. Everyone was a busy life. I knew he was having a good year, but the fact that he finished this year with a 411 batting average, after doing it basically the same last year, 400 batting average, he has a bright future in baseball, and we're all proud of him as an athlete. We wish him all the best. Other announcements?
Let's go out of order. Let's
Okay.
just bounce around.
Okay, bounce. Who wants to bounce next?
Me. I'm
She's
I'm me.
volunteering,
Okay,
yeah.
Councilor Young.
Well, we start at the ends and then
Yeah,
those of us in the middle. Middle child syndrome. I don't have too much. I did attend the WEA breakfast a couple weeks ago with the mayors, and that was fun to watch. The mayors bantering with each other, hearing a little bit about what's going on in each of the prospective cities, and something about a sock contest. Some of the mayors were all wearing interesting socks. Mayor Mays, what were you wearing? Nike?
Black socks.
He didn't participate, but anyways, it's
Did they match?
They were black.
Did they match?
They matched.
Okay.
That's not interesting.
that's not interesting.
But if he's the only one wearing black.
Anyways, just always a lot of fun when the mayors get together. And then last Thursday, we wrapped up two Thursdays ago, the budget committee meetings. So next council meeting, we'll be bringing the budget to council to discuss and approve, hopefully. I also attended the Bowman House open house. If you haven't been through the Bowman House, I don't know if it's too late. I heard there's an offer on it already. So, but what a beautiful house that our students at Sherwood High School built, and the cabinetry in it, and the backyard. It's beautiful. Cruise in Sherwood's coming up. I won't say much because somebody else is probably going to talk, but they still need volunteers. So please go on the website, and somebody else can hammer that home as well. And then one of my liaison assignments is the YMCA. And besides all the usual things that we know the YMCA does, they just have some fun activities coming up. They're having a teen dance this Friday. They're having a parents' night out on Saturday. They're having a membership appreciation day lemonade stand coming up. Here's a good one for parents. They're having a babysitter's training coming up on June 17th. They also have a few camps coming up, which you wouldn't think from the YMCA, which these are really cool. Code to the Future Minecraft Video Game Design. They have 2 sections of that for ages 7 through 12 and 9 through 14. They have some basketball camps, rock climbing camps coming up, a lifeguard training, and a rugby camp, a cooking camp, another babysitter's training. So this is all on their website. This is in their newsletter. You can go online and sign up for their newsletter so you know what's going on throughout the month. But that's a lot of stuff going on at our Y here and keeping our kids busy for the summer, giving them a safe place to go, summer camps when parents have to work. So that is all I got.
Awesome.
I'll go ahead and go. I just got one quick thing. Tagging on to what the mayor said about legislation. Actually, Governor Brown today signed Senate Bill 664, which was the bill that is going to require schools to teach about the Holocaust in all school curriculum starting in 2019-2020. That actually went through the legislature fairly smoothly. And it was actually, the idea came from a high school student. She was 13 at the time, currently now 14, named Claire Sarnowski from Lake Oswego. And she was really influenced by the work of Alter Wiener, who has obviously been in Sherwood a lot, has really touched the lives of a lot of our kids in our schools and the people of Sherwood as well. And at our January 15th council meeting, we had some folks came and spoke to us, and I'd like to recognize them as well. Gabby, Livy, and Noah West, as well as Dawn Prazzo and Paula Schaefer, all came and spoke to us at that council meeting, again, to really, push for us to recognize the life of Alter Wiener. And I think, this legislation obviously is going to help with that. And I know there's some work that's going on here with the city based on our citizens coming forward to honor him in Sherwood here as well. But I just wanted to get that out there, that was actually signed by Governor Brown today. So that should go in to school curriculum in 2019.
Awesome.
And that's all I've got.
Great. Thank you. Counselor?
Want me to go?
Sure.
Okay. Let's see, we didn't have our Parks Board meeting. Instead, we're having focus groups where the consultant who's working on the Parks Master Plan is meeting with all kinds of groups over the next few weeks, and we're really focused on what organizations want out of the parks and recreation amenities, facilities in the city of Sherwood. So that's going on right now. Plug for Robin Hood Festival. I know Maid Marian Carter was here tonight, and they're amazing. It's such a great festival. It's the only place in the world we have Robin Hood Festival. 65th this year, 19th and 20th of July, with the archery contest finishing up on the 21st. And the parade will be at 10 o'clock on the 20th. It's a big event. We may or may not be throwing candy. Well, no, we're not throwing candy.
We're lobbing candy.
We'll think of some.
We will have candy to pass out.
That's right. We'll be passing out candy from afar.
I thought we were using slingshots.
Whatever the chief and the city attorney will allow us to do, we'll do it. So it'll be great fun. And of course, the car show this weekend. I know more stuff's coming on that. So that's it.
Renee?
So the Friends of the Senior Center met recently, and the two major topics of conversation were, one, the committee that we were discussing tonight, and the majority of the people around the table are definitely supportive of that. And then we also had a pretty significant conversation regarding additional hours for the senior center manager, and again, they are very supportive of that itself. And those were the two major topics. There's also lots of fun things going on at the senior center. They do amazing things. I wish I had the time to go on their trips with them. Library Advisory Committee will meet in 2 weeks, so I don't have anything to report this time, but you all have in the packet this wonderful report that Adrian puts together. We are having a master plan meeting with a consultant on Thursday, so the Library Advisory Committee and the Friends of the Library are meeting to see the plans. It's been a really busy few weeks with lots of cool seminars about leading with empathy and Oregon Health Forum on different social issues. Been busy with that. And then on Saturday, attended the TVFNR award ceremony, which was always fun to see the great things that our guys and gals are doing in the community for our safety. But one of the groups that I'm affiliated with won a Community Safety Award, so that was really awesome to see as well. And then last but not, well, I have two things. So Councilor Young was talking about the YMCA camps. Well, Rotary Club of Sherwood has a Peace Village that is taking place later on in the month of June at St. Francis Church, but it's all about peace and learning how to manage through conflict and appreciating nature and so on. So if you're interested in that, please go to the Rotary Club of Sherwood, Oregon website and click on Peace Village because there's still room there. Last but not least is, yes, Cruise in Sherwood is coming up. It's this coming Saturday. Everything starts at 9 o'clock and goes until 4, and then the band and the beer garden stays open until 10. And yes, we need lots of help. Particular, I am running the beer garden and need some monitors. So if you don't have anything going on Saturday and you want to come join the fun, I would definitely accept
Music
you.
is outstanding.
Music is outstanding. Yeah, there's all kinds of bands, and in particular, Hit Machine, so it draws a large crowd. So come on down, and you can sign up or call the chamber office if you want to register to help. Thank you.
Awesome. Tim?
Just a couple things. I also attended the WEA Mayor's Forum meeting. That was a lot of fun. Again, I think Councilor Young talked about the banter between the mayors. It was entertaining, but it was also very informative to see where they stood on a lot of important issues that face our region right now. Last night, I had a lot of fun. I went to the high school honors ceremony where they hand out scholarships and awards and all their cords and everything, and we just have a great bunch of kids coming through our system right now that are doing a great job. I got to hand out 2 scholarships, which was a lot of fun last night. I also attended the wellness fair at the YMCA last week and read a proclamation from the council. Some of you may have seen that on Facebook. That was a lot of fun. And last but not least, I want to mention that we have the Concert on the Greens series coming up at Stella Olson Park. A lot of preparation going into that, and the Historical Society runs the beer gardens there every year. And I just want to do a shout out to Hops and Drops. They're going to be donating beer this year,
Nice.
Which is great. And that a lot of the proceeds from the beer garden go to the Historical Society to help maintain our museum over at the Moorback House and all that fun stuff. So shout out to Hops and Drops for that.
What about lemon drops?
Oh, I'll bring that up at the next Historical Society meeting.
Is there another hop place that opened today?
There's an IHOP.
Oh, did IHOP open today?
So we have IHOP next to the Hops and Drops. So that would be all.
Awesome. Thank you. Doug?
A couple quick things. I also want to, Councilor Young mentioned this before, the babysitter training at the YMCA. Both my daughters went through that, and it was an excellent program that prepared them very well for their babysitting endeavors after that, so I want to shout out for that. Also, I attended the Bowman House open house last Friday. My wife and son and I walked over there, and it was amazing. I mean, the workmanship was really cool. I mean, it was so light and bright and airy in the upstairs and downstairs too, and then the backyard was just like perfect. Like they did a great job. So I know I was jealous. I was like, I want this. So it was great. Planning Commission. So last Tuesday there was not a regular meeting. There was a work session about you guessed it, fence code updates. I think that was the 3rd work session, and we're not done. Fence code updates are coming back to next week's work session. Again, there won't be a public meeting next Tuesday here at 6:30, but there will be a work session. Hopefully, the final version of the fence code updates, and then as well, the bigger item on the agenda is the draft economic development policies for the comprehensive plan update. So if you're interested in either of those topics, and you definitely should be, Planning Commission right here next Tuesday at 6:30. That's all I got.
Awesome. Thanks, Doug. With that, we are adjourned. Enjoy the good weather out there, everyone.